Hey guys, this is the conservative speaking. What's going on this glorious Wednesday morning? So I wanted to talk about the past election that occurred throughout throughout the states of New Jersey, Virginia, where else? California, I believe New Jersey, Virginia, California, and I believe that's it. I don't think there were any other elections that occurred. There were three major elections that occurred. The election in New Jersey was for the New Jersey governor race, as well as Virginia. Oh, and also the mayoral race in New York City. So, and also the the decision to redistrict a state in California. So, uh, in a non-surprising move, the Democrats were able to have sweeping victories throughout. Zoran Mondami, a socialist who happened to call himself a Democrat, wins unanimously over Andrew Cuomo. I think everyone expected that. Also, in New Jersey, Mickey Sherrill, whatever her name is, she won the governor race in New Jersey. And then Anna Spamberger also won the governor race in Virginia. Jay Jones was won his election in Virginia as the state attorney, even though he referenced in a text message back in 2022 that he wanted to kill not just his Republican opponent, but he wanted to kill his children as well. And then in California, they passed they passed a bill to redistrict the state, which gives Gavin Newsom the opportunity to gain five additional Democratic seats blurting out while eradicating any Republican seats in the House of Representatives, which could affect the midterms coming up next year, but I don't really think it's going to do too much because every other state has already decided to redistrict their state, gaining more seats. And when I say other states, I'm speaking about the red states. Other red states have already redistricted their states. The latest one was North Carolina, so they are going to be able to obtain about a couple GOP seats. So the only reason why it makes a difference is because unlike all of these other states who are legally allowed to redistrict their state, California technically is not allowed to redistrict their state. I believe at least for another 10 years or so. But Gavin Newsom found the opportunity, the rare opportunity to redistrict his state by putting it on the ballot. He couldn't just automatically do it because it'll be violating their own state constitution, which doesn't allow the state of California to just redistrict their state whenever they want to. So he put it on the ballot and he found a way to pass it, mainly because he knew that that illegal aliens will be able to vote on it, considering the fact that California does not enforce uh, people to vote to show ID and to show that they actually are allowed to legally vote within the state. So you can take that for you can take that for whatever it is. But we all know that the Democrats have been for years. Democrats have been positioning themselves to cheat so that they can be able to put themselves in the best position to gain power. All right. It's not as if the Democrats really care about the illegal aliens. This is the reason why they're constantly pushing back against the Trump administration, wanting to comply with ICE to get the illegal aliens because they know that these are the very constituents that will vote for them and keep them in power. All right. This idea of darn it, I forget what it is, but this idea of the replacement theory. Yes, the replacement theory is real. Okay, they are trying to replace the people who will keep this country intact. And what I mean is they're trying to replace patriotic white people who still make up the majority of the population of this country. They're trying to replace them with illegal aliens that will vote in one favor, one way, and that will be democratic to keep the Democrats in power. And that's really what the Prop 50 uh, vote was all about. It just allows the Democrats to put themselves in the best position to to remain in power, which is the reason why California holds the super delegates in in the Democratic in the Democratic representation, or the overly representation of Democrats in California. This is the reason why they hold the super. That's the reason why the Democratic Party holds the super delegates in California, because they for years they have been redistricting and making sure that California will be the Democratic power hold, and it will allow Democrats to continue to remain in power within that state. And the redistricting of their state will only keep the Democrats in power for uh, for the foreseeable future. I've always said that California just needs to be annexed. Wait, give me 1 second. I don't know what's going on here. There we go. Sorry about that. So there it is. Uh, the Democrats were able to sweep the election. What's interesting is the mayoral race in New York City. Not necessarily because of the candidate who won, because people have been speculating that this Mandami guy was going to win for a long time, but mainly because of where the direction of the Democratic Party is going. So no longer is the Democratic Party the centrist moderate party. All right, the Democratic Party of the 90s, that's gone. This party now is going to be led by a socialist who is far, far, far left. All right, this guy, this is the equivalent of electing Bernie Sanders to run that city, and the people in New York are going to feel it. They are going to feel the pain of having a socialist run their city. All right, a socialist who is a Muslim who was born in Uganda is now going to be able to hold the keys and become the CEO of one of the largest cities and one of the biggest economies uh, in the country. This is going to be an amazing time because we are going to be able to witness New York City fall to the ground, and New Yorkers will have no one but themselves to blame. Now, keep in mind, this is something that has been in the running for a long time because the Democrats have put themselves in a position to where New Yorkers uh, are now are now running to a radical socialist who is not even a centrist or a moderate. This is a person. This person doesn't even identify with the Democratic Party. He's just using the Democratic Party as a vessel to get elected. But this guy, he wants to engage in socialist ideology, such as wanting to make everything free, free buses, uh, free healthcare, free education, free this, free that. Of course, he never told you how much it was going to cost. He never told you who's going to pay for it. Oh, yes, he did. He said that the billionaires are going to pay for it. Okay, it's the same nonsense that other people have said. This is a guy that wants to implement government ran grocery stores. Oh, New York is going to feel the burn, and I can't wait for it. All right. But how does New York City get to the point where they are now electing a socialist to run one of the biggest cities in the country? Well, it comes down to the Democratic Party. All right. All of the centrists, I mean, all of the left leaning Democrats are the ones that have pushed these people into wanting to bring in a socialist to run their city. More particularly, Andrew Cuomo. I mean, did Andrew Cuomo not read the room? Clearly, he lacks a self awareness because this guy is an embattled, former disgraced New York governor, a guy who did a terrible job in running New York State, a guy who did a terrible job in handling the China virus, in which he signed an executive order to allow China virus stricken residents to be readmitted into nursing homes, affecting the populated people who would be affected by the China virus, and thereby killing a lot of nursing home residents, and then had the nerve to cover it up until now indicted Attorney General Letitia James was able to rip the band-aid off and expose the cover up that the Cuomo administration was engaging in. But it wasn't the fact that, but trust me, he didn't step down as governor because of that. Oh no. All right, it took a group of women to claim that he was being a creep and was inappropriately touching them for Andrew Cuomo to step down. And now this guy wanted to run for governor, and I said, well, if he runs for governor, I think I think that a socialist, someone radical, will be able to win that election because Andrew Cuomo has proven to be a failure. All right, he's already failed with New York State, and now he's trying to come back into the graces and wants to regain the trust of the people in New York City. But he has a bad track record. Even the people in New York doesn't they don't support him. They were willing to vote for a socialist over a person who had to resign as the governor in disgrace. And there you have it. That's the Democratic Party. Amazing. All I'm asking is for all the people in New York City to suck it up. All right. Don't come don't come to where I'm at. Please Stay exactly where you're at, because I don't want your politics. I don't want your radicalism. I don't want your stupidity, because a lot of people in New York City are stupid. You people voted for this, and if you didn't vote for this, you people set it up to where people that were as radical and as retarded as these people were to vote for Zoran Mandami, you people allowed this to happen. So stay exactly where you're at. You already know what's coming. You're just gonna have to be adults about it and just bite the bullet and deal with the pain. But don't come to where I'm at. Please, for all by all means, stay where you're at. All right? We love you people where you're at. Do not come over here. Please. By all means. Don't do it. Don't come here. All right? Please don't come here, because we're more conservative on this side. Don't come to where I'm at. Please don't do it. By all means. Keep your crazy behinds where you're at. Just stay there. All right? Stay there and enjoy it. And then, as far as all of the other races in New Jersey and Virginia, these things are expected. Of course, they're going to make a spectacle of having the first woman being elected as governor. I wouldn't elect these women to be a dog catcher, let alone to become the president of these particular states. But again, this is what the very people voted for, and this is what they're getting. It's interesting. So, of all the candidates that you could have gotten, it came down to two women. I wouldn't vote for either one. All right, because women are weak. Women should never be in a position of power. It's not their position. The woman should be in the kitchen, barefoot and pregnant, cooking and cleaning, and washing their husband's funky underwear. That should be the role of the woman, or particularly, yeah, particularly the woman. That's the woman's role. The woman should never be in a position of power. But these morons in Virginia decided to elect a woman into office. The state of Virginia is going to suffer because of that. All right, I could see Virginia looking like Oregon, and I'm okay with that. Just stay over there. I don't ever plan on coming to Virginia. I don't ever plan on wanting to do any business in Virginia. I am okay with you morons voting for a woman to destroy your state. Go right on ahead and do it. Okay. And then, as far as the the woman winning in New Jersey as the governor, it's just going to be more of the same politics that were implemented by Phil Murphy, but only worse. I mean, she's a woman, so you can expect her politics to be even more radical than Phil Collins or Phil Murphy, whatever. He does. I mean, Phil Murphy does have the face of Phil Collins. Let's be honest. Okay? But the people in New Jersey, just know this: if you thought the way that Phil Murphy handled the China virus was bad, wait until we come across another pandemic. Okay, this woman, she might even start going after people who who are saying things that offends her. So, hey, I believe this is the type of woman that will go on a Gestapo mode, and will start apprehending people who write offensive things on social media. Yeah, she is the type of person, she will hunt you down for that. So The people in New Jersey, good luck with that. Okay, good luck. Good luck. Um, I'm sure that a lot of people thought that Jack Schiaparelli was going to win, but I can tell you for two reasons why that wasn't going to happen. Uh, People assumed that New Jersey was a purple state because of the past presidential election in which Kamala Harris only defeated Donald Trump by 5 points. But I always knew that New Jersey was a solid blue state. And the only reason why Kamala Harris only won New Jersey by 5 points was because Kamala Harris is a god awful candidate. All right. Uh, had had there been a better candidate for the Democratic presidential election, a candidate that they could have gotten had they ran a primary, uh, I'm sure that candidate would have won New Jersey by double digits. So New Jersey was always a solid blue state. So I didn't really expect Jack to win the race. Plus Jack Citarelli. I mean he's a Republican. He's the person that should be elected if the people in New Jersey had sense. But the people in New Jersey have proven that there are a bunch of that the people in New Jersey, mainly the men, are liberal soy boys, and you have angry feminists that believe that they are men, and women that are voting in New Jersey. So that's what you get. All right, not surprised by the results at all. And also Jack Citarelli, along with Winsome, whatever whatever the black woman's name is in Virginia, they're just boring candidates. They're not polarizing candidates like Donald Trump that can get people to come out and vote. And also, not to mention, you know how people felt a sense of urgency to vote in the past presidential election. Republicans came out and started voting early, which is something that Republicans usually won't do. Republicans usually will wait until the day of the election to vote. No, people had a sense of urgency to vote for the great white hope, Donald Trump. Well, you didn't hear that sense of urgency with these candidates. Donald Trump really didn't even vouch for these candidates. I mean, I'm sure he gave Jack Citarelli a vote of approval, but it isn't really much. I mean, Jack Citarelli doesn't really move the needle. I think if you put up a better candidate, someone who is polarizing, that also would bring about the the policies that Jack had. I think you would have had that would have been a good chance that a Republican would have been able to defeat the likes of Mickey Sherrill, because Mickey Sherrill doesn't show that she's going to improve the state of New Jersey. It's going to be the same politics, but even I mean it's going to be the same people, but slightly worse politics coming out from this woman. And you people are going to wait and see. You just wait and see how the state of New Jersey is going to be ran. All of these people, all of these Democrats, they're just going to be busy fighting Donald Trump on every single issue, as opposed of doing things that can help improve their state. All right. And this is what these Democrats have campaigned on. They're not really campaigning to want to fix their state. Their main campaign, they were mainly campaigning on and getting elected for fighting Donald Trump. So while that was effective in local and state elections, it won't win them any federal elections. Just won't. All right, because the people already see right through the nonsense. And then Proposition 50 being passed by the state of California. Not surprised by that. Not surprised. Initially, they vote when they were legally allowed to vote for it. Californians voted an emphatic no on that, but they found a way to pass it. But we all know how shady the voting is in California. I truly believe that the voting process was rigged. Nevertheless, it gives Gavin Newsom the opportunity now to redistrict his state and bring about 5 Democratic seats in Congress, and which could make an impact in the 2026 midterms. But I truly believe I'm waiting for the Supreme Court to just hand down the decision to finally eradicate a law that was within the Civil Rights Act, in which black people shouldn't be overly represented by by any state. And if that happens, Democrats are going to lose about 17 seats. All right, I believe within that state, or probably or within another state within the country, which I'm fine with that. It's the way it should be. All right, no one state should be overly represented by Democrats. Shouldn't happen. But with the Civil Rights Act, they they allowed that they that gave them the opportunity to kind of gerrymander their state to make it to certain where specific states will be overly represented by Democrats based on the amount of blacks that vote Democrat within those states. So all that will come to an end once the Supreme Court uh, are able to hand down the ruling to end that part of the Civil Rights Act, which was the worst decision to ever be made in our country. The Civil Rights Act should have never ever been signed into law at all. I know people had good intentions towards it, but people took advantage of it to specifically, mainly the Democrats, took advantage of it so that they can remain in power and continue to tear into the fabric of our country. And we seen how Democrats are when they're in power. They can never ever be in power again. We went through it during the Biden administration. It can never happen again. The Democrats can never ever be overwhelmingly in power again. They can never ever taste power again. So while all this may seem like a victory for the Democrats, it's a victory state wise, but but will it affect federal elections? No. I don't even believe that the Prop 50 will will affect federal elections, because there are other red states that have already redistricted their states as well, so that they can be able to obtain more GOP seats. So I still think that overall, if the elections were to start tomorrow, Republicans will still be in power. Um, and when it comes to Congress, so I still think that the GOP is in good hands moving forward, and they can say whatever they want about Donald Trump's approval rating tanking because of the economy. My only response to that is, well, what is the Democrats' approval rating? Because if their approval rating is lower than Trump's, then we are in good shape to not only gain control or maintain control in the 2026 midterms, but also maintain control in the 2028 election, whether Trump decides to run again. See, just kidding. Look, I can already see some of the Democrats getting getting flustered by that. They're already triggered. Oh my God, Trump is running for a third term. He really is a king. Yeah. But anyway, that's what I have for you guys. I am back, and I'm glad to be able to speak to you. I'm actually going to go over 30 minutes. That is amazing. Well, Take with it what you can. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about the content. And this is The Conservative. I'm signing out. Have a good day. Amazing.